The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com. The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent. You're listening to The Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a f***, that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a f***, I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, I might tell them it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw on my pain on percussion. The disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you all must spot at the feast. I've been on go mode, show mode, show
morning. Welcome back. We made it. November 4th. This is the post-election show. I want to talk about the winners. I want to talk about the losers. Hey, good morning to you. Welcome back. Nathan Ivey with you. I made it. We made it. If you don't know and you weren't a part of it last night, we had an awesome time, man. It was absolutely awesome. Epic. It was a big night for the Nathan Ivey Show, Syndicate Media, and for all the listeners. We had a lot of fun. Now, I told you, I was prepared to go from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. I didn't quite make it. I admit, I didn't quite make it. We didn't go to 4 a.m. We went to like 1:30, something like that last night. Man, I had to get away. I had to go to sleep. Fell asleep very, very quickly last night. But I'm like that, though, man. I could sleep in a thunderstorm on an iceberg. I could sleep on a submarine that's submerged. When it's time to go to sleep, my body goes to sleep. I get the rest that I need. Plus, let me give you a heads up. I've got to make a move, family. I got to leave at about 9:30 a.m. this morning because I have a dentist appointment at 10 a.m. Got to make sure the pearly whites are actually pearly white and that my teeth and gums are as healthy as possible, especially, if I'm going to be in front of cameras and things like that. But good morning to you. How are you? I want to thank all of the listeners that were a part of the stream last night. I think we went 9.5 hours. That is big. I told you, the Iron Man of this, man. I'm built for this. And I had so much fun that I'm looking for other ways in which we can do something similar. It was a great time. I want to thank all of the listeners who called in. I want to thank all of the candidates. I want to thank all of the folks. I want to thank Kevin Aldridge and Donnie B and Fast Pitch and Black Russia and all the people that called in, giving updates last night. All of the folks that were part of that feed. Hopefully you had a good time. Kicked off some things that we're doing with CDM last night, which I may talk about again this morning. You'll hear more about it now. They were sort of past that. And got some new patrons last night. I didn't quite reach my goal, but that's okay. We will reach the goal in terms of the number of patrons. Just inviting people to join this mission to amplify Black voices in the greater Cincinnati area and beyond. Good morning to you. How was your night? How late were you up last night? Hold on, let me fix this right here because I don't really like the way that looks right there. There it goes. How up were you late last night? And how did you sleep? You sleep good last night? Hopefully. I slept like a baby. I almost overslept this morning, but I set the alarm and I kept hitting the snooze button on my phone. Speaking of which, I kicked off a text messaging campaign, and I'll be sharing my number with you. Matter of fact, there's a link in the description of today's show if you're on Facebook and YouTube. And let's connect. There's nothing more intimate than connecting via text on your phone, in my opinion. It'll give you an update as to what's going on with me, the show, CDM, and we do have some big plans. So, man, it was a great night. Again, I want to say a special shout out to Kevin Aldridge last night. He is the opinion editor with the Cincinnati Enquirer. He called in like 3 times last night and gave what I thought was some very sharp, astute analysis. Shout out to Donnie B, host of the Is It Just Me podcast. She was with me for a lot of time last night, sharing her opinions and her very astute observations as well about the election. We had a good time, family. We had a real good time. So I haven't looked at the numbers. I'm not sure how many people were there, but I'm only concerned about the people who were there. There were so many watch parties last night. Shout out to the NAACP. They did a watch party. I say it again. I can't say enough how fondly that I look at the work that they did during this past election with those virtual town halls. I don't have the words to express just how much of a good job that I think that they did all the way around, all the moderators, everybody who was involved with it. You're talking about a resource in our community. And that's why I rock with them. I keep saying that's why I rock with them and proud to say that because I think that they are positive in our community. And I know people got a whole bunch of ish to say last night. I mean, in general about them, but I don't give a damn. When you know, and I already know those folks do good work and care about our community. So props to them, along with the Prince Hall Masons, period. What else? Let's pick the bones, shall we? And talk about the winners and losers. And we may be able to get some of the folks to call in today. I don't know. I haven't reached out to anybody to see if they're willing to call in. These folks that ran these campaigns, man, I've thought about and I'm thinking about running for public office. I'll be quite transparent with you. And to me, I respect people that run for public office, especially those that do it for the right reasons, because I think it's very necessary for how this whole thing works. And even during a normal year, I think that running a campaign is super, super hard. But this was COVID-19. This was a unique experience. So I want to say shout out to all the different peoples in both parties, the volunteers, the canvassers, all the folks, man, that work really hard to promote the values that they believe in to further our democracy, if you want to look at it that way. So, props to them. So we got some candidates that called in last night as well. You could tell those folks were tired. Props to all of them. And some of them were winners, some of them were losers. But I'm a big believer that when you run your hardest race, when you grind hard, even if you don't get the immediate result that you're looking for, if you don't give up, because me, we don't give up over here. We don't give up. It's hard to be the person who never gives up. That's my personal motto. There is no give up. Don't let other people determine what winning and losing is for you. You determine what winning and losing is. To the outside world, they might look at you and think, oh, okay, well, damn, you didn't win. They don't know what they're talking about. You determine that. You determine what's winning and losing in your life because you set your own goals. So all the folks I rock with and that I know, if you didn't get the results you were looking for last night, if you ran a good race, then there's a value in that in and of itself, in my opinion. You might feel differently, but you can also give me a call at 513-873-7134 this morning if you would like to share your thoughts. We did some giveaways last night. Yeah, we got some merch, Black Voices Matter, some CDM merch. This is exclusive merch. I mean, this design will be a very, very temporary design. So we had a really good time last night, and I checked off a lot. Really, I checked off all the boxes of what I was trying to do last night with that stream. Smart people do multiple things with their time, and I wanted to do multiple things with that stream last night. And again, it checked off all the boxes. So again, if you were a part of it, thanks for rocking with us. I hope you had fun. I hope it was a resource. I hope. I'm open to, you can send me a text message and say, hey, Nate, next time do this, or next time do that, Nate. Oh, I would love that. You are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. I'm like everybody else. I got buttons, but I also got thick skin. So if you're about helping promote and move forward what I'm doing, what we're doing, please feel free. You can shoot me a text message right now. And at any point, you can, sort of shoot me your ideas. My number is 513-953-9228. 4224. That's my number. Matter of fact, I'll put it back on the screen for you. If you got a chance to see what we did last night, and you can text me personally. That's my number right there. Matter of fact, let me do it better. Boom. That's my number right there. 513-953. That's not even it, man. There it is. 953-4224. Let me get this out of here. That is an error. I don't want to keep making that mistake right there. There it is. So that's my text message number right there. If you want to text me, if you saw the stream last night, you're like, Nate, if you do that again, you should try this. Or how about you do this, Nate? Great. Let me know. Let me know. We had people on Spreaker last night. And Spreaker, I love Spreaker for a lot of good reasons, even though we've had our issues with them. But with the current plan that I'm using, I can only stream live for so long, right? And that limit is 5 hours. And when I hit the 5 hour limit, Spreaker was like, we out, buddy. So I apologize to you if it was very abrupt, which I know it was. So we'll do that again. We'll do that. My wheels are already spinning on how we can do that again to serve various goals in the near future. But let's talk about the winners and losers. You wake up this morning, you want to hear the winners and losers, right? You want to know who won last night, who lost last night, and what people think about who won last night and who lost last night, right? That's what you're into, the winners and losers of the election. Somebody is happy today. Somebody is happy. Cue that song, Happy. Somebody is happy today. Hold on, let me get a little music in the background while we rock this morning. Woo! I'll be honest with you, we did 9.5 hours. I did 9.5 hours. And it wasn't until that very end in which I really started to feel it. Like the first 5, 6, 7 hours, we had enough content. I had enough people calling in and enough things going on. It kind of kept it going. And then we started doing the giveaways with the trivia last night. That was a lot of fun, man. I love that. I'm going to incorporate more of that into the Nathan Ivey Show on a weekly basis. That was a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. So that just kind of kept me going. It's kind of kept me going. And then many of you were there in the stream as well. Drop called in gloating last night. Right after I got off the stream, he called me. He's gloating. And why is he gloating? So who were the winners and losers from last night's election, the big election of 2020? Well, I'll tell you this much. On the presidential front, we still don't have a winner. From what I'm reading, we still do not have a winner. If you're reading something different and you're pulling information from somewhere else, let me know. Well, let me know. It's still a nail biter in many states. Very, very close, too close to call in some states. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, this is how close this shit is. In Wisconsin, Joe Biden is winning Wisconsin, and they got a total of like 3.2 million votes cast. He's winning Wisconsin by less than 30,000 votes. In Michigan, Donald Trump is up by 0.3 percentage points. 0.3 percentage points for, it looks like it's like roughly 13,000 votes. And they say your vote doesn't matter. Those people don't know what they're talking about. Your vote matters. Every single vote matters. Are you surprised that the election is this close? I'm talking about the presidential election. Are you surprised that it is this close? Are you surprised about some of the winners and losers locally, which we have to talk about? We have to talk about that. So let's get into it. The big winners and losers locally. Well, in terms of big winners, let's start with Steve Shabbat. And to me, it's Shabbat, obviously, but it's also the way that district is gerrymandered. I mean, to me, it looked upon last night that Kate Schroeder had a real chance of beating Steve Shabbat. And she did in Hamilton County. But Warren County is a whole different animal. And that's the reason why the Republicans gerrymandered that particular district to benefit whoever the Republican candidate might be, or the Republican incumbent. In this case, is Steve Shabbat. I mean, think about this. Shabbat has twice defeated John Cranley, Roxanne Qualls, Steve Driehaus, Avtat Pourval, and now Kay Schroeder. And in the horizon for the first district. I feel for you. But the district is going to be redrawn before the 2022 election. So that might be the best opportunity that the Democrats have. Another big winner is the Hamilton County Democratic Party. Democrats picked up 9 of 13 judicial seats. And props to the Democrat Party for them. Shout out to Eddie Davenport. They did good work. We'll talk about the particulars of it this morning. We went through the bones of it last night, but we'll talk about the particulars of it. But props to the Hamilton County Democratic Party. They gained control of the 1st District Court of Appeals. They now have a 9-7 majority on the Common Pleas Court. And again, I'll say props to the executive director of the Democrat Party. That's Eddie Davenport. Another big winner, Joe Dieters. Joe Dieters. These mofos in Hamilton County will not let this man go. And I think last night, in my opinion, I think that Kevin Aldridge gave us some really good analysis in the sense that, I think Fanon ran a hell of a race. And it was as I said. It was going to take more than lip service and people bumping gums on the internet to beat Joe Dieters. It was going to take volunteers and it was going to take money. Point in fact, from where I'm sitting right now, Joe Dieters has had a lot more money. He started with a $600,000 war chest. And so that gave him money to spread his message on television and in the airwaves in the last couple of weeks in a way that Fanon Rucker may have not had. It is what it is. Raised over $1 million and kept the heat on Fanon Rucker with negative ads that played into the overall GOP media strategy that we saw Donald Trump employing all the way down the ticket. It is what it is. He had commercials, digital ads, and he had self-loathing Negroes like Pac-Man Jones. If anybody knows Pac-Man Jones, if you're a conscious black person, you have a responsibility to pull that brother to the side and tell him about himself. Now, he might go in your mouth, so you got to be prepared for that. But I'm just telling you, I'm going to do what I can to reach out to Mr. Pac-Man Jones to get him on the air so we could talk to him to let him know how we feel or how I feel. I promised I would do that last night. I will do that. I'll take care of it this week. Let's see. Ohio matters. I don't know why Joe Biden decided to ignore Ohio in the final 6 weeks of the race. It came out last night through some of the interviews that we had and the calls that we got that the Hamilton County, the party chairman for the Ohio Democrat Party reached out to the Biden campaign like, look, you should be spending money here in Ohio. It doesn't make any sense. It's just why do these Democrats do this? Like if you go back to 2016, Hillary Clinton did the same damn thing where it seemed like she wasn't campaigning in areas that she should have. Why, and you know what, would Joe Biden not go super hard in Ohio? I just don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense. And everybody knows that the road to the presidency goes through Ohio. You got to come see us. You have to come see us. And if Joe Biden ends up losing this election, and again, Kevin made this point last night, he may very well look back and say, you know what, Ohio. You got to go through Ohio. If you're not willing to go through Ohio, then you ain't going to win. Simple as that. Let me talk about some of the particulars here on a national level so you'll know. As it stands right now, and these numbers are all over the place, but as it stands right now, Biden-Harris, 227 electoral college votes. Trump-Pence, 214. Now, you may go to different places. I'm in Real Clear Politics. I'm going to stay with them throughout the rest of this. They do good work. U.S. Senate, Democrats 45 plus 1, Republicans 47 minus 1. U.S. House, Democrats 188 minus 4, Republicans 181 plus 4. What does this say about the nation? Read this for me, family. What can we learn from this? What does this say about Donald Trump? Do we need to give Donald Trump props? What can we learn from the way that the Republican Party conducts himself? I mean, think about what happened. They rammed through. Number one, you got a president that lied about the coronavirus, played it down while Americans are dying. You got a Republican Party that basically says, yeah, we hypocrites, so what we're going to do what we want to do, and rams through a Supreme Court appointee days before the election. And it looks like that many parts of the country just didn't care. You know what I'm thinking? I'm wondering if the Republican Party was right. And again, I'm saying that even though we're looking at, on some cases, they absolutely were right around the country. Here's what I mean. 2020 was an unprecedented year, not just because of COVID. It was an unprecedented year because of the social unrest all over the country. You had cities that you had social unrest. People were hitting the streets. In some cases, there was violence, okay? Damage to property, tension, standoffs with the police. The Republican Party decided to use that and to weaponize that during the election to say, look, these Democrats are soft on crime, and we're going to give you law and order. Did it work? Did it work? Were Americans across the country more fearful of Antifa and Black Lives Matter and lawlessness than they were a liar in chief and the threat of getting the coronavirus? I feel as if there's a lot to unpack here. And if you're somebody that's in a politics game, and I don't have to say this, they're going to do it anyway. You know, this election is going to, as all elections will, but we'll talk about this. This election is going to give you a lot to think about. Again, I know it's a lot of sharp, intelligent people out there. I want to know what you think this morning. 513-873-7134. I want to know what you think this morning about what we've seen and what we're seeing. Yeah, I'm here. I told you I'd be here. I'm here. I'm here until about maybe 9:25, and then I got to move to the dentist. Got to make this move, and my dentist is way out in Kenwood, so I need to get there, at least 15, 20 minutes away. Last night just, to me, it just further cemented what I've already known about what we're doing here, to me personally. So, and for the folks that won merch last night, again, give me till tomorrow, and I'll be text message you along the way to make sure we get that to you within the next couple of weeks. I appreciate you playing along. It was a good time. All the way along. Again, checked off all my boxes. I didn't reach every goal yet. We gonna get there yet. But I checked off all the boxes last night, so I'm pretty pleased about how things went. I thought the stream was good. I thought we had a good time. And again, if you have any feedback, you can always text me. Man, the choppers can text me at any time, straight to this phone right here. This is my phone. You can text me at any time and give me your thoughts. That's my text number. That's my text number right there. That's my phone number, 513-953-4224. You can text me at any time. If you want to try it out, go ahead and text me right now and send me a message, and I'll respond to you in real time straight out the phone. I'm always down for what the choppers have to say. I'll leave that up for a little bit. All right, you can text me to that number. That's not the call-in number, but that is my text number to my personal phone. Okay? Just follow the prompts. There'll be a couple of automated prompts after that. You'll be Gucci. But let me go straight to the chop shop. Got to take care of my folks over there. Miss D's in the house. She writes, greetings, Nate and the choppers with a Z. Brian writes, morning. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and the choppers. Good morning, everybody. Alexander Scamilton writes, good gosh damn morning. Robert writes, do y'all hear that? That is the sound of inevitability. Time to blow things up, Democrats. He said inevitability. Time to blow things up, Democrats. Y'all lost to Trump twice. Oh, well, good morning. Hashtag alt middle. Cincinnati political opinion is not needed. Get rid of Didi's first. Damn, we can't speak. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Broadway. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. They still got to count the votes. They still kind of count all the votes. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. All right. This is what the Inquirer said about the winners and losers. I'm on the Inquirer this morning. Again, shout out to Kevin Aldridge. Shout out to Donnie B. That was rolling with me tough last night. And I really appreciate it. Just giving their opinion and their time, which is very, very valuable. Very busy people. Everybody's very busy. Got a lot of stuff going on. You know, yeah, I unleashed the language a little bit last night because, I mean, you know, I'm grown. And, you know, it was grown folks' time last night. So, see, here's what the Inquirer wrote about winners and losers. They say losers, Ohio Democrats. Tell me if you agree with this. Cincinnatian and party chairman David Pepper is a great guy, but expect to start hearing calls for a change in leadership. And it would be hard to blame anyone for doing that. It was another debacle for the state party. From Biden's Ohio loss to the Democrats' inability to break up the Republican supermajority in the state legislators. The GOP handed Democrats a gift with the Larry Holder scandal last summer. The Dems couldn't take advantage of it. They did pick up a seat on the Ohio Supreme Court, but Democrats continue to pay little attention to the rural areas of the state. In fact, the presidential results show they made no progress in the Appalachian region and other rural pockets. That doesn't bode well for Democrats looking ahead to the 2022 election. Do you agree with that? I see no Democrats who are ready to seriously challenge Governor Mike DeWine and U.S. Senator Rob Portman. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And when I say agree with that, I agree with that statement about no Democrats ready to challenge Mike DeWine or Rob Portman. Is it fair to blame David Pepper? Is it fair to blame him in terms of how the Ohio party is going? Well, I mean, you know, listen, when you're the quarterback, you get more praise when you win and more criticism when you lose. That just goes with it. So yeah, on that level. But from what I understand, David Pepper can't control Joe Biden's campaign. And if Joe Biden had ran a better campaign, a better ground game, then perhaps it would have an impact on the down ballot races. If Joe Biden loses and they lose, will he look back at Ohio and say, oops, my bad? I don't think you can blame David Pepper for that, but I'll leave it to other people to pick the bones and to make that decision about whether they think David Pepper is the right guy to be the party chairman for the state of Ohio. I will say I didn't think so a few years ago when they nominated the weakest person I ever. There was just some not smart moves that were made, right? In terms of the Ohio Democrat moves over the last election cycles. So I don't know. We'll see. Let me go to the phones. Let me welcome in our brother on the left coast. I'm speaking about Drop Squad 52. Hey, good morning, Drop.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. I see you are bright and early. You are a man of your word. You are on your grind. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Brother. How are you?
I'm doing good. Obviously, Mr. Ivey, we do not have a winner for the president yet. And it's pretty kind of sketchy that the states that are in question right now adopted the mail-in voting for this presidential cycle for the first time. Never done it before. But for one of the most important elections in American history, they decide to switch over to mail-in ballots.
COVID-19.
Is this the reason why, Mr. Ivey?
COVID-19.
Is this it?
COVID-19.
No. Nah. Don't even play the COVID-19 card, Mr. Ivey.
It's not a card. It's a pandemic.
I know. Just like we have other viruses in this country, Mr. Ivey, that have vaccines. There is no cure. So we already know COVID-19 is a virus that the American people got to live with. The drugs are on the way. The therapeutics, as they call them, the vaccines, if people take them, they're on the way. So
yeah, but they're not
we
here
need
yet.
to push. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, but on the way is not the same as here yet. And so that might be the reason why these states adopted these mail-in rules to accommodate the concerns and fears, rightly so, because even the president got it, of people had about getting coronavirus. You're trying to make it seem like it's some kind of nefarious plot against Trump. No, it's called a pandemic.
Oh, it is.
It's called a pandemic.
Because think about it, Mr. Ivey, think about it. COVID-19 was a health a health department issue for all these states. Okay. Each state handled it their way. So they didn't have to change the election rules in the same year as the election, Mr. Ivey. You don't do that. All you do is expand your vote by your absentee ballot rules.
Man,
you don't change the entire thing to mail in.
Listen, do you wear shorts in the summertime?
This is what happens.
Do you wear shorts in the summertime?
Oh, when I was a mailman, Mr. Ivey, I wore shorts all year round.
Okay.
All year round.
In the summertime, when it's hot outside, do you wear shorts?
Yes.
Okay. In the winter, and I know you're in California, so your winters are different, but in the winter, do you wear maybe long pants, maybe put on a jacket or something like that?
Yes.
Okay,
toward the end of my mailman career, yes, I wore long pants because I was old.
Do you know why people do that? Do you know why humans do that? Why you do that? Because humans adapt to their environment. So we're in an environment of a pandemic, and humans are adapting to it. And that's why these states were using, some different methods for people to get their ballots in. Nothing more than that. Do you have any real evidence that there was some kind of nefarious plot?
Okay, but Mr. Ivey, again, sir, prior to this year's election, there were only 5 states that did mail-in balloting. Only one of those states was a so-called Republican state. All the rest were blue states. So why was it the fact that it just so happens that Philadelphia and Michigan are undecided, and they're talking about, at least in Philly, that they may not have a complete count of the mail-in ballots until Friday.
You're unwittingly making my point for me, but you didn't answer my question. So
I have answered your question, sir.
That there's some
kind of answer. You don't like my answer. You don't like my answer, but I answered your question.
The question. So I want to ask it one more time. Do you have any real concrete evidence that the states that adopted mail-in ballot rules have some kind of plot against the president in mind? Because if you do, send a link.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, mainly, specifically Philadelphia. Okay. Specifically Philadelphia. Okay. Because I don't know if you listened to any CNN last night, but the former Republican Rick Santorum is from that area. And he spoke about the things that happened in Philadelphia. Because again, Mr. Ivey, we do not live in a vacuum. So again,
I didn't hear any evidence.
Again, to answer your question, it's obvious I don't have evidence being out here in California. I can't. Obvious. Even if I did sent you proof of the shenanigans that happened in Philadelphia, then I don't know. You still may disagree. But one quick thing before I go. I don't know if you've used this.
You don't have any evidence.
Well, I mean, you can say what you want to say.
No, you
but
just
the
said
fact
it.
is,
you just said it.
What?
I said you just said it.
I just said what?
You just said that it's obvious that you don't have any evidence. I just reiterated what you said.
I get it, Mr. Ivey, but in order to see something when we're talking about politics, because you remember, sir, politics is not about the truth. It's about what people will believe. So, like I was saying real quick, I don't know if you've used it any yesterday or this morning, but the Bing, B-I-N-G search engine, if you type in presidential election, I think you may like their election 2020 page, because to me, it is the most accurate. It gives you real time, almost like Real Clear Politics. But Mr. Ivey, the main reason that I called, and I appreciate you questioning me when I call in. I get it. But sometimes your line of questioning is quite obvious what you're trying to get out of me. Which it ain't going to work.
I'm trying to get the truth.
It ain't going to work.
It is quite obvious.
Mr. Ivey, it's politics. Okay, now, the main reason that I call, it's not about the presidential election, because we all know what's going on with the presidential election. But I'm talking about these other states and these other candidates that the lamestream media and the desperate Democrat Party kept throwing in the American people's face. Oh, we got them. We got them. We finally gonna flip it. We got them. They were talking about Texas. They were talking about Georgia. They were talking about North Carolina. They ain't flipped nothing. Now, Mr. Ivey,
did they make
what happened to my man? What happened to my main brother, Jamie Harrison, down in South Carolina, where he got all that national Democrat money? He had Barack Obama. He had all the famous black folk campaigning and sending money to his campaign effort against Lindsey. But guess what happened, Mr. Ivey? The same thing that happened to Stacey Abrams. The same thing that happened to Beto. The same thing that happened to Andrew, I'm not gay, Gillum. Now, I'm calling out, you know who I'm calling out. Now, obviously, the presidential election hasn't been decided. But if you go to the Bing website, the Bing search engine, and you look up election 2020, Mr. Ivey, it says that Joe Biden has 238, and he's leading in 16 other contests. Donald Trump has 213 electoral votes, but he's leading in 71 contests. So if Donald Trump, and again, that's why I like the Bing election data, because it's clear, Mr. Ivey, the Democrats are going to be harvesting ballots. They're going to keep looking and searching for ballots. Mr. Ivey, we already saw this narrative develop.
Like the Republicans
they were already talking about
back in 2000. Yeah.
You heard Trump talking about it. Talking about they're going to be pulling ballots from everywhere, throwing ballots away.
A pathological liar who's only cares about himself. He's been setting the table for this for months and months and months. We expect that from him.
Right. And it's happening. It's happening in Philadelphia mainly. Nobody even thought he would be this close in Wisconsin and Michigan because those fake ass polls have been saying that Joe Biden was up by 25 points. And look what happened. Mr. Ivey, I was watching you and Danietta Bailey last night when y'all were going down the stretch. I was up and I'm watching y'all and Donnie B, shout out to my girl. She was looking good, Nate. She was looking fresh. She was looking energized. I don't know if she got some love in her life, but Donnie B was looking good last night. And some of the way you guys were talking about this race, Mr. Ivey, you pretty much conceded for Joe Biden last night because you know you do not win the American presidency by losing Ohio and losing Florida. Trump has won both of those. Both of them. And again, Mr. Ivey, both parties have internal polling. That's why Joe Biden waddled his old ass out last night, talking about, oh, yeah, we looking good. Oh, yeah, hold on tight, y'all. We got this thing. Hold on, y'all. That was intentional, Mr. Ivey, because if you remember, crooked-ass Hillary, a couple of months ago, telling Joe Biden, I don't care, Joe. Don't you concede under no circumstances. It's all planned out, Mr. Ivey. I'm loving it, but I'm waiting. But before I go, Mr. Ivey, can you give me some commentary on those places and those people that the Democrat Party and the media threw in our face for the past 6 months or 4 months, saying that it's finally going to happen? The Democrats are going to take over this seat or take over this state. Any commentary, Mr. Ivey, before I go?
No commentary, because I haven't got a chance to look at any numbers this morning. And I want to see the numbers come in, and then I'll give you some more thoughtful commentary about it, including Texas and Ohio.
Okay, but fair enough. But you do have to admit, sir, that some of the the language and some of the pontificating by some Negro whisperers and pundits on our cable shows all lied again. They all lied, right, Mr. Ivey? Since you're calling people liars, all those people that said Joe Biden was going to destroy Donald Trump because of the blue wall, because of the black female vote. Oh, he doesn't have a chance. Oh, Jamie Harrison's going to finally beat Lindsey Graham. Oh, this, oh, that. Ain't none of it happened, Mr. Ivey. So all we got to do is wait for the results. We know it's going to go to court. We already know. So Donald Trump is going to turn up the rhetoric. His social media followers are going to turn it up on social media. People are going to be getting banned and suspended left and right on Twitter because they frustrated and they fed up. So maybe Twitter will go back to their normal rules, because last night, Mr. Ivey, they were playing around with people's Twitter accounts. But like you said yesterday, it ain't your account. It belongs to Twitter and Facebook. So they can do with it whatever they want.
Pretty much.
So I'm going to hang up. Yeah, I'm going to hang up, Mr. Ivey, and I'm looking forward to hear from some of the other choppers who so vehemently disagreed, vilified, and demonize me. I don't want to hear no coon talking. I don't want to hear no shuffling songs. I don't want to hear nothing. I want to hear that stable. I want to hear that lockdown on that gate. And Brother Mazone, you need to go back and do whatever you want to do because the overseeing business ain't working out for you. Top Squad 52 dropping fire to anyone who wants to catch it. It ain't over till it's over, baby. It ain't how you start, it's how you finish.
Thank you for the call. That black man right there. I'm happy. You know what? I'm happy there's a black man that's happy somewhere in America this morning because there's a lot of black folks that are not happy. At least we know there's one black man who is happy. I'm happy for him. That's great. I'm glad that he got what he was looking for. You know what I'm saying? Happy about that. Are we going to call this morning? Let me see. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. It's Boutros.
What's
Long
up,
time
Boutros?
no talk to on the airways.
What's up with you, brother?
In the words of Rock Tim, it's been a long time.
Yes, it has.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Listen. Does he know he's a Russian operative? That's my first question. Does he know he's a Russian operative, or has he just been unwittingly brought in by the Russians? Because that is just inexplicable. So I just want to make one quick point. The point about the states, Michigan and Pennsylvania, and there's a couple other states, the blue leaning states that all allowed and provided for mail-in ballots this go around, and somehow the fix is in, and that's the only pathway. If there wasn't the coronavirus, as you pointed out, right, we wouldn't have a need for that in the first place. And you would have still had the same amount of voters, if not more, there in person. That's how Obama won 2 terms in a row, including Ohio. And so that argument that, what's his name, Brother Drop, posits doesn't hold up, because that assumes without the mail-in ballot system, you wouldn't have the votes. I would argue, a lot of people would argue, not only would you have the vote, you would have more, and we would have known last night, definitely by this time this morning, who the winner is. And most likely it would have been or will be Biden. So just had to make that point. Couldn't let him get that off and not correct that, because that makes no sense. This idea that the only way that the Democrats will get the votes is through the mail. So
I agree completely.
Anyways.
Yeah, I agree completely, Boutros. Hey, man, don't be afraid. It's great to hear your voice, man.
Hey, man, it's great to hear your voice. Love what you're doing, man. Keep it up.
Most deaf. Boutros. AKA Mason Jamal giving us a call. You listen, you never know. You never know. But yeah, I mean, logically speaking, it just makes sense. I mean, thinking that the mail-in ballot is somehow increased the people who were voting. Like, maybe it did because it was more convenient, but those people just would have voted in person anyway. And as he said, we just would have had a more concrete picture of the election results now, rather than having to count it later. It was all BS from Trump. Trump trying to set the table so if he loses, then he can claim that there was some kind of plot against him. And as I got dropped to admit, he don't have no evidence whatsoever that there's some kind of plot, because there is no plot. It's just simply another avenue. And these Republicans complaining about the mail-in ballots, you got states already. Many of these Republicans, Trump and his family members have voted via mail. But all of a sudden, when they feel like it may not benefit them, it's a problem. It's a plot. Oh, please, get out of here. Makes no sense whatsoever. Miss Tiffany writes, good morning. Clue Magic writes, Grand Rising, Day in the Choppers. Fox writes, rise and shine, young stars. Brother Mazones writes, good morning, Choppers. It ain't over. No, it's not over. Brenda writes, happy Wednesday. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Mason Mahler writes, morning, Nate and the Choppers. Hashtag flows ready to eat for everybody. Hashtag count all the votes. Hashtag we got this. Hashtag CDM had me up all night. Ashley writes, she enjoyed the watch party, Nathan. I'm glad. Jerica writes, did Rucker win? Well, that goes to the loser. And in the Rucker case, I don't think Fanon Rucker was the loser. We are the losers. Joe Dieters won last night. I think it comes down to a few things. Money. 2, money. 3, money. It came down to money, in my opinion. And that money allowed for Joe Dieters to carry his narrative through TV and digital ads. You know, I was on all kind of websites. Now, I did see Fanon too with some of these online digital marketing ads and things like that. But those negative ads work when it came to Fanon Rucker. Now, is that racism? The people look at Fanon Rucker and say, "Look at this black man. Oh, he's gotta be against defunding the police." It looks like, and Kevin Arthurs made this point last night, it looks like the strategy that Dieters employed actually worked. His strategy was to not do side-by-side forums and debates with Fanon Rucker. He did one, and he looked horrible in it. Some people even said he looked like he was inebriated, like he was drinking. And so his campaign must have sat him down and said, "You know what? We're going to ride the money on this one. No. Don't go back in the ring with that black man. Don't do that. NAACP forum? Oh, no, don't do the NAACP forum because Joe, he may make you look bad. So what we're going to do is just ride on the wave of this money and these negative ads." And the negative ads were what they were. They were inaccurate. I'll say it again. He said it over and over again. I made the point on these airwaves over and over again that he, and by he I'm talking about Fanon Rucker, was never for. I had no, as a black voter, and it's a voter in Hamilton County, I had no doubt that Fanon Rucker, if he would have been elected Hamilton County prosecutor, would have been just as tough, if not tougher, on crime, because he would have been tougher on all the crime and not just the crimes that certain kind of people commit here. No doubt about it. But there's a lot of still question marks about, I guess, who Fanon Rucker is. And Joe Dieters was able to use his money to paint the picture in the minds of voters and scare the hell out of people. And again, it was smart. Like I said, that social unrest in Cincinnati scared the bejesus out of some people. And these white male Republicans used it or tried to use it to their advantage. Now, the only one that it worked for was Joe Dieters. He's got a big name. He's got a lot of support and a lot of money. The Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office is a big deal in Hamilton County. It's not a small deal. It is a big deal for various reasons. The business community came out for Joe Dieters. People should remember this. I don't know what the black vote did. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to look at these numbers when they come out as to what the black electorate did. And we'll talk more about it in the days and we'll probably get the details, I say by Friday, and then maybe there'll be more commentary to have like Monday or so, but it is what it is. A big winner in Hamilton County Sheriff race, of course, was Charmaine McGuffey. And I stand by what I said. I think that she'll be a much better Hamilton County Sheriff than Bruce Hoffbauer, and I think she'll be a better Hamilton County Sheriff than the current sheriff. That's just my opinion about it. I think that Bruce Hoffbauer, Bruce Vortex, I shot an unarmed black man and then blamed it on his desire to commit suicide at the hands of police officer Hoffbauer and his white male arrogance. He tried to play that same card. They all did. I mean, it became very evident to me that the white male Republican strategy in Hamilton County was to try to pit all of their Democrat challengers, no matter who they are and what their background was, as if they were like, members of Antifa, and they were going to open the doors and allow the black and brown hordes, criminal hordes, to take over your block and your cul-de-sac. And it worked in some places. It just didn't work for the Hamilton County Commissioner. Of course, Alicia Reese won. I think that's a great thing for Hamilton County. I think she ran a hell of a race. I think that if you are somebody who's looking at how to run during COVID-19, how to run a campaign, you need to look at everything she did and take notes. I know I took notes. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay. Oh, I see you. Literally. I ain't joking with you. This is valuable information. When you see these people successfully doing this, this is valuable. You should be taking notes. You should be looking at this. So I did. I paid big attention to it. But as I said before, I mean, that's a big win in Hamilton County, man. That's a big win for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department. We were standing in the face of a problem with Bruce Hoffbauer. That's just me. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nathan. Charmaine McGuffey here. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, congratulations. Charmaine.
Thank
I'm
you.
very happy for you and happy for the county. How's it feel?
Oh, thank you. It feels wonderful. It feels fabulous, Nathan. And people were asking me last night, how do you feel and what do you think? And really, I want to say this: I am so grateful to everyone who helped this happen. I mean, and there's so many people out there, so many of your listeners, just so many people, and I'm just super thankful for all of the support. And, we really are going to get this done. I woke up this morning early, just ready to go to work.
When do you take over? Is it in January? When is that transition?
Yes, it's January 4th. So that's when the official at midnight, that's when the official transition will take place. And, I've already been getting ready for it behind the scenes, getting a few people lined up, just so that, my main goal is to go in there so strong that we can start very immediately getting some things done. So.
Yeah. I mean, I know you probably don't want to speak on this, but there's probably one man in the county sheriff's department right now who is probably considering his career options with no names being put out there. I thought about that this morning. That's going to be quite interesting to see what happens with that. But I mean, you've got business to take care of in a very serious way. But again, I'm very happy for you. I'm happy for the county. I genuinely believe that you were the better candidate and will represent for our community like you said you would.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And Nathan, I want to thank you, really. My heartfelt thanks to you. I mean, I know you did your homework. I know you checked it out. I mean, you weren't going to just, back a candidate that you weren't clear about. So I really, really appreciate all your work. And, as far as that particular individual goes, I really just have to say this. I'm so sad. I'm really sad that happened with that individual. It breaks my heart that that's how that ended. And hey, but you can't, people are going to be themselves. That's all you can do, right?
Pretty much. So what's first on your agenda when you take over? You said you've been working on it already. What's do you want to share what your maybe top 3 things are that, and you talked about on the campaign, but just to reiterate it with the audience this morning, now that you are will be the Hamilton County Sheriff-elect.
Right. Well, my first priorities are, one, I'm going to, talk to the personnel, take a look at our personnel numbers and who's where. And I want to put people in their best jobs that they will do great work in. But I also want to go through that jail and talk to those prisoners. That's what I want to do. That's going to be my first priority too. So, it's a dual priority. I want to get in there. I want to find out the conditions of that jail, and I want to talk to those prisoners. They're important to me. How they're doing in there is important to me, and how the officers are doing in the sheriff's department overall. Because I know morale. I mean, I've been hearing it from all corners of the department. Morale was the lowest it's ever been, and so those are my really first things I'm going to do, Nathan.
This is a hell of a turnaround. I mean, just so people to understand the background. So you rise in the ranks as the Hamilton County Sheriff, put your blood, sweat, and tears, make it your life work. You call out corruption and things that are happening, abuse. The current Hamilton County Sheriff essentially launches an offensive against you, tries to push you, does push you out, push your name on the break list, does all these things to you. You run and beat him and get the Democrat endorsement in the primary. And now you're the Hamilton County Sheriff-elect, and he's got to essentially give you the keys on January 4th. That's a hell of a story right there.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a hell of a story.
It is a story. It's a climb. That's the way I describe it to people, because that's what it felt like. It felt like climbing up that mountain. And, there were times when we hit the flat spots and the plateaus where we could rest a minute, but, and then, and really to get me up that mountain, I can't tell you the number of hands that reached down, and help pull me up that mountain. And that includes, Black and brown people. That includes women. That includes LGBTQ people, men and women. I mean, you name it. Everybody pitched in and helped because there was no way I was going to do that on my own, you know.
Well, Charmaine, thanks for calling in. Again, congratulations. And we'll be watching. We'll be watching as you involve your community,
absolutely,
you know, programs, initiatives. You know, the platform is always open to you.
That's right. Well, thank you, Nathan. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do for the community. And I just really appreciate you taking my call. You're the first interview that I've had since I became officially the sheriff.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep, most def.
Okay.
Yep. That's Charmaine McGuffey right there. That's a hell of a story, yo. I mean, that's how I understand it. I mean, rose in the ranks as the Hamilton County Sheriff, called out abuse and corruption. The current Hamilton County Sheriff took exception to it, pushed her out, put her name on the Brady list, bad-mouthed her, black-marked her in an effort to sort of drown out her voice. She like, oh, we doing that now? Oh, we doing that now? She ran against him in the primary, ended up getting the Democrat endorsement, and then winning the election yesterday. And now he has to give her the keys of the department. As I said, there's at least one black man who's a sheriff deputy. I think he's a major right now, who's probably making some career choices. That's what he said he was going to do. He put it all on the line, didn't he? Be careful what you do out here. It's real. So, again, I'm sure she'll do the right thing and won't do anything improper. But that's going to be some. Can you imagine that moment when Earl Price has to go face to face with Charmaine McGuffey, and now she's the boss again? She's the boss down there? That's going to be interesting. Somebody should make a meme as to what Earl Price's face is going to look like. That's going to be funny as hell, quite honestly. I'm sorry, the irony is too thick for me. I have to call it out. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Who am I speaking with?
This is Chastity Bowman. I am calling from Operation Change Cincy.
Okay.
And I just want to say I am truly excited about what Hamilton County just did yesterday. You know, flipping these judges' seats, putting Charmaine into this position has really got us set up for some true changes in democracy. Can we please just talk about how we just slayed the giant of Judge Quibicki and Dinkelacter? Can we just shed some light? Like, this is huge. This is huge. Our Court of Appeals, this is huge.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. We're about to hold these people accountable. It just don't stop. They're not going to take our votes and it'd be another election. They come through, they take our votes, and we don't hold them accountable. Oh, no, we're holding them accountable for the next year. You know, we have the Better Bus Coalition that, you know, is standing behind, you know, going in, doing court watches. We're sitting in the courtrooms, Operation Change Cincy. We are all about accountability. We have created an accountability worksheet that we are asking them, hey, can y'all commit to meeting with us once a month to go over this accountability worksheet? But we still need the community. Don't lose the momentum. Like, if you want changes in your community, then you have to still do the work. Like, the work is just now beginning. You know, it just didn't start at this election. Now we have to work. We've got to, you know, still push down and get that gun range out of Lincoln Heights. You know, we still got issues on the table, and now we got the right people in there to do it. We still have to push forward and do it. So I just want to say thank you, Nathan, you know, for always just allowing folks to keep it real no matter what side of the table they're on.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody wants to continue to help this movement, you can find us at operationchangecincy.org. Like what the name says is exactly what we want to do.
Oh, listen, Chastity, I respect what you're doing. I think I sent you a message saying I'd love for you to come on and talk about Operation Change Cincy. I love, from what I understand, I don't know everything, but from what I see, I love what you're doing. Can you just spend a little time just kind of talking about, you know, why you formed and what you're trying to do since you're on the air?
Sure. Yeah. So Operation Change Cincy came about because I actually have an organization called Ohio Prisoners Justice League. And so we advocate within all 28 facilities here in Ohio for the humane rights of those that are incarcerated. And so the work that I have done across the state, trusting sheriffs and communities came to me and said, hey, like, we love your work. We think that, the way you organize is a little different. What can you do in Hamilton County? And I'm like, well, it's really important right now because we were pushing for mass releases due to COVID inside of the facilities in the prisons. And we were seeing a lot of resistance from the local judges, Quebec being one of them. And so I knew that in order for us to get what we needed in the prisons, we had to drop down and do something locally and shift this, make this transition and shift. So we created Operation Change Cincy because we were seeing, the gun violence going up, the gentrification happening, the situation in the prisons. And Hamilton County is actually the third highest county for receptions into the prisons that were sending positive COVID cases. And so we knew that we had to drop down to this local level to be able to make a change in the state. So we created a 10-point system, and our main goal is accountability. So on September the 3rd, we had a day of declaration, and we stood in front of the courthouse and we declared this day that we were going to change Cincinnati. We phone banked, we called close to 100,000 people, getting them out. You would be surprised at people that had no clue about this local election and how monumental that it was. We were in the streets. We hosted rallies. We hosted, marches. We got out there and connected with the people. So what we want to do now is we want to know what's happening in Price Hill. We want to know what's happening in Avondale. We want to connect with people on the ground who have been doing this work for a long time to say, hey, let's bridge all our gaps together. Let's band together and let's make this work for our community, not just at election time, but make this work for us. And so, it's working. It happened. Looking at these results today, I'm telling you, I'm more excited about what happened in Hamilton County than I am on a national level, because this is the beginning of how we, move forward. We have so many young people, like you all would be surprised, the young people 14 to 18 that were really out here with us, advocating and out here with us, pushing, telling their friends and their family members that could vote, you have to vote. This is why it matters. And so our goal is to take those that group of young people in the next 4 years and develop them. And they're going to be our voters in the next 4 years. So we have to start now. We have to remember, we got to go back in 2 years. We got to flip city council. We got to flip this governor's race. Like, we have to do these things and we can't lose the momentum. So that's where our focus is. We're getting prepared for all of our post-election things. The main thing on our list is our accountability sheet. And in 45 days, you're going to see us out here doing a press conference saying, okay, this is what you said during election. This is what we demand, not asking. This is what we demand, and we're going to move forward. So, and I feel real confident about it for sure.
That's amazing. I'm glad you're out here. Can we stay connected? I mean, look at this platform as an open door for you, just to connect with the audience and just another platform to get your word out there and what's going on. I'd really appreciate that if we could stay connected. So I think that everything I'm seeing and hearing from you this morning, man, you're doing exactly what we need people to do.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be an honor. It would absolutely be an honor.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for your work. That's Operation Change Cincy. I love it.
Yep. OperationChangeCincy.org. Y'all can go to our website, check us out, sign up, help us. It's going to be a pretty good ride. It is. Thank you so much, Nathan.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Man, listen, anybody, I'll say it again, and I've said it before, anybody that's out here trying to move our community, in particular, our Black community, our Black and brown community forward in Cincinnati, it's an open door policy. We're here to promote what you're doing as a platform, period. The door is always open. You can DM me or just call in. You always going to get a friendly voice as long as I'm sitting here, if that's what your mission is. So I just came across them I'm not even sure how. Maybe it was on Facebook. I'm like, okay, what is this? And I saw this sister out here just doing what she had to do, raising her voice and raising awareness about the issue. So it caught my attention. And again, anything that's positive for us, I'm all about it. I'm all about it 100%. All right, you got my number there, 513-873-7134. You got me. I'd say for another 40 minutes, and I've got to make a move. Got a dentist appointment at 10 a.m. this morning, and I do not want to be late. I'm lucky to get in, man. Woo! I put the word out there looking for a black dentist, and I got a whole lot of responses, and I just kind of looked, and there was one name that just kept coming up. I'm like, okay, well, let me try this one first. Did a preliminary, and I was like, yeah, I need to come back and get this done and get that done. They're like, yeah, we'll see you in March of 2021. I'm like, March of 2021? Damn. But apparently he's so backed up and so popular that couldn't get in. But they got a system where if people, basically cancel their appointments, that they'll text message you. I'm like, put me on it. And I got the word last week. It was the day after the election, which kind of made sense. I could see that. Somebody was probably laid up last night, maybe in their politics game in some way or another, maybe a volunteer or a candidate. And I was able to slide on in. So I couldn't say no, family. I had to take it because I got to make sure that my health on all levels is 100. They say that, there's a connection between your heart health and your oral health. You know that, right? So, with me, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it all the way. And everybody knows I've completely transformed my lifestyle and my relationship with food even. I don't have the same relationship. And so I can't deny any aspect of my health, including the pearly whites. Thank you, wifey. Including the pearly whites. Maybe not so pearly anymore, but including the pearly whites. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. So I'm going to be leaving early. I may come back during the day. I'm still a little tired, so I may take a nap or whatever and catch up with you on a Thursday. But I may come back today. Let me put it this way. Don't be surprised if we live stream today. Don't be surprised if that happens. So I'll put it that way. All right, and let me go back to let me go to the folks who are on Facebook and YouTube. Andrielle writes, good morning, Nathan Facebook friends. Good morning to you. Bari writes, good morning. Sean writes, morning, beautiful people of the sun. Somebody asked, are you going to do a giveaway during the show today? I will start doing some giveaways during the show because, as I said, I'm doing a text messaging campaign, and I want to make it available to everybody who might want to connect with me directly. It's the best way if you want to interact with me to do it. Sometimes you can leave a message or send a message on Facebook. You don't already see it. But when you send a text message, pretty much that's got a higher connect rate. And I want to connect with you to let you know what's going on about the Nathan Ivey Show, about CDM, and some things that we got cooking, including a new platform for the greater Cincinnati area. So you'll be first in line for everything in terms of hearing about it. Plus, it's a way for me to talk directly with the listeners and kind of get that feedback. Many of you know, because I've contacted you, and I'm about to do it again, is that I'll come to you a few times a year to get your direct feedback. Get on the phone with listeners like, hey, tell me what you like about the show. Tell me what you don't like about the show. That's invaluable if you're a creator. You cannot leave that out. And I'm not thin-skinned when I'm trying to build something. So I'm going to use text messaging to do that this round, just to get some of your feedback. You watch the show on a regular basis, right? I'm doing it for you. So I come to you for ideas on how to make it better, what you like, what you don't like, things that we should add, things we should take away, that kind of stuff. So don't be surprised to get a text message from me. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Nate? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing? You holding up?
Oh, man. I was feeling good last night when I called it. And by the way, man, I appreciate everything you and Donnie B, y'all did last night. Oh, Nate, I actually think that you had an impact in that Charmaine McGuffey race because, the voice is out there. But, yeah, man, you put in like Ali Beshi hours yesterday, man. You were there for the long haul last night and during the day. I was wondering if you was going to make it this morning.
Oh, yeah, I'm here, man.
I really was. I wouldn't have been mad if you showed up at 8 o'clock. Like, shit, we didn't go to, the show didn't stop at what, 1:30, almost 2 o'clock?
Yeah, about 1:30 last night, yeah.
I literally went to bed with the earphones in my ear, man.
Really?
Without losing all my battery power, and it's still like, showing the replay. So, but, man, a couple of things. Nate, I've been saying this for about a week now. I never believed that Biden was going to win Ohio. It's just like, because we just know Ohio. And despite the demographic change and the economic changes that are happening in the exurbs and the suburbs, again, it's still Ohio. What we basically seeing, Nate, is what they basically been saying for the last 2 months now. It's all playing out. And I said this last night, and I've been saying it for as long as I can remember. It all comes down to which 3 states, Nate? Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Even if Donald Trump kept everything from 2016 and Joe Biden won the exact same states as Hillary Clinton, it all comes down to those 3 states. And by the way, just because the minister of disinformation called in, I call him the Baghdad Bob of the chop shop, he tried to play they're going to try to rig the system. Nate, I don't know if you knew this or not, but the state-controlled legislatures of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, guess what parties they're controlled by?
GOP.
Exactly. And and all 3 of those states, guess what they decided to do with absentee ballots and mail-in ballots, Nate? They decided that they will not count those votes ahead of time and report them only on the election night. That's why it's taking so long. So there is no grand conspiracy. Nate, the fact is you still got to convince this brother, like, there was a necessary need and definite need to do mail-in ballot just in this particular year because of what, Nate? Freaking COVID-19. What does Noval mean? It means new. COVID-19 is the 19th strain of the COVID virus. Am I right or wrong, Nate?
That's what I understand it to mean. Yes.
Right. So again, the disinformation out there, but folks, those states are controlled by Republicans, and they decided long ago. It's actually in Pennsylvania, they decided part of their state law that they count the ballots that way. And guess what they're doing now? The Trump administration is doing now. He's suing his own Republican legislators to stop them from counting the vote. Did you see what he said last night, Nate?
No, I didn't.
He said stop counting the vote. He came on about probably about 1 o'clock, I think. This may be about a half an hour, 45 minutes after Joe came on. Yeah, he said stop counting the votes, Nate. And now they're currently trying to sue Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. From everything that I see, Nate, that some of the biggest counties in Pennsylvania, they're saying that there's still 800,000 to 1 million votes that still need to be counted.
Dang.
And in those counties, they're heavily Democrat. And we're talking about the Philadelphia area. I'm actually on the Huffington Post website right now, and it's 2020 presidential elections is a nail biter as key states still counting votes. Everybody read that article. That's where I found out that Drop's conspiracy theory that they're about to do ballot harvesting or bring in fake votes or, these states are trying to screw Donald Trump. And then you find out that they're Republican-controlled state legislatures. So how do you do that? This is another question. Where do they do that at, Nate? So all the nail biting, I told you, Nate, I didn't think he would win. Georgia, it's a freaking red state. Florida has always been a toss-up. We haven't had this type of tie-up in Florida since the Hanging Chad days. I'm disappointed in Jamie Harrison. I think they spent more money in that Senate race than any other Senate race, Nate.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted him to win as well. I wanted Lindsey Graham to pay for his hypocrisy, his betrayal.
Right. But, and this is another thing, Nate, and going back to last night's show, I didn't see Donnie B following Jamie Harrison. I've seen the man in pictures with his wife and 2 sons. That came out of the blue. I guess that could have been a factor, but I didn't see that, my brother.
Yeah, I didn't see
he went to Ivy League schools. He's well-spoken. Again, you got him a light-skinned sister with a couple of boys.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. Yeah, that was the first time
I really didn't see that. And Nate, let me also say this, man, and it's frustrating. I understand the attitude that's out there, but again, Nate, I am sick and tired of people who don't know the information when they have a effing computer sitting in their hand. Nate, if you remember back, we were talking about last night. You were talking about the 1994 crime bill and how there are people out there that believe that Joe Biden locked up all these black people. And I heard Danita call in. I hope you take this as in a compliment. Danita, she reminds me of a female Mason Mauser. She comes with the facts. She's well researched. Nate, remember when I sent you that factcheck.org article about the 1994 crime bill and Joe Biden?
Vaguely.
Remember, and I sent it to you before I even posted it because I wanted you to read it. Actually, I sent it to Pamela too because it broke down just who voted for the 1994 crime bill, who wanted what, and who wanted to lock people away forever. And my argument was, and you actually read into the details, and this is what Donita was saying, it isn't what you seem. It's like we bought into the urban legend about the 1994 crime bill and what actual impact Joe Biden had than the actual fact. And again, you can have your opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You're not entitled to your own fact. Now, I knew that Rudy Giuliani and the Trump administration threw, alternative facts into the lexicon, but the facts are still the facts, Nate. So, I mean, it's not going to change minds, folks, but the least you can do is go out there and seek and read and ingest the information that's out there. And I say that all the time, Nate. That's why I provide links. I provide, the sources, because I don't want you to believe me. I actually get off sending you to where the information is, folks, because I think it's vitally important. We smarter than the average bear in a chop shop, y'all. We know this. And we check each other's. Iron sharpens iron. That's the way it should be.
For sure. My thing, and I kind of agree with you, but I think that when it came to Joe Biden, I heard a lot of black people looking at him with a 2020 hindsight lens, rather than remembering the environment in which this whole thing came about. Now, I was young. They
might not have been born.
I was young in the game. I was back in public radio, but still true to my progressive, leanings. Even back then, I was against the crime bill. Progressives back then were 100% against it. But you had a lot of organizations, even black-led organizations, coming out of that whole crack cocaine epidemic that was looking for some kind of relief and for people to do things. And then the other thing with Joe Biden is I felt like
they were behind it.
They were behind it. It wasn't like Joe was the Klansman who was out there. Even though, hey, listen, you out in front, you pushing it from the legislative side, you got to deal with the consequences. But I just felt like I feel like I heard of too many black people when it came to Joe Biden, they were only looking at just that as if there was nothing else on the man's record that we should judge him by. And I just felt like it wasn't balanced enough. So maybe that made it played out. Maybe people stayed home and or voted for Trump because of that. If it is, that's what they right is.
I mean, this even goes back to, remember when we talked about how the kids used to crawl all over him when he was at the pool? And I don't know what you say, they were like roaches, they were all over the place or something to that effect. I don't know if you saw this, but CNN did a series about the election and did a long series about Joe Biden, did a long series about Donald Trump, and their political life and everything. Essentially, Joe Biden, when he was a teenager, Nate, he basically came from Sycamore to work at Hearst Community Center. I mean, literally, that's the analogy that I want to use. To be a lifeguard when he was a teenager. They actually talk about stories of where they were in high school and they were on the football team and they went to go eat somewhere and they, back in those days, they wouldn't serve black people. So he said, well, if you're not going to serve my teammate, we're not going to, none of us are going to eat here. And he actually wouldn't let the black guy leave until he got served. They eventually kicked them all out. But I mean, just again, background. But as far as the 1994 crime bill, again, I put the information out there, man. I just want people to read it because I'm sick of people listening to Day and Drano sitting there on Tennessee and Red and Road just talking about BS that don't mean anything. It's the same damn premise of calling into your show talking about the fix is in. Then we find out that these are Republican legislatures. People, you need to know the facts. Man, we might not know the end of this election until maybe tomorrow. And again, it's not because the fix is in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. They decided that, I know it might seem a little stupid now, but that's how they decided to count their votes, man. I'm disappointed in him and the county. Nate, I got to, again, go back to last night. With all due respect to Kevin Aldridge, and I like the brother. He's right. He's sharp. But Nate, race is a huge part of what's still going on in this county and what's still going on in this country.
I think he said that. He admitted that last night.
No, but he tried to play it down a little bit too, Nate. Nate, you talked about the Fanon Rucker
he said it was left and right
by Joe Dieters. That has nothing else to do but race. Scare white people thinking that Fanon Rucker in his hoodie is going to be in allegiance, in coordinate, and be cohesive with that movement. That's what those commercials symbolize. You know it. They've been using it's the 2020 version of the Willie Horton ad. Just Cincinnati polite style, mate.
Mm-hmm.
And a line of flying.
I feel you on that. It was.
That's all it is.
New millennium.
You're right. When Donald Trump plays the law and order card, it's not about really, the low end. Remember, I used to make the joke, I'm going to go down Mason Montgomery Road on a horse talking about the low income people are coming. The low income people are coming. He knows exactly what that appeals to. So race is all it's going to be there, Nate, especially in this information age where we know more stuff than ever before. If anything, young people are probably more woke now, but they just don't know where to apply that energy. And unfortunately, just like the Bernie bros and they young people, the Biden bays and bows, the young people, they didn't come out and vote, Nate. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason. We talk about Florida. Nate, Florida came down to the Hispanic Cuban vote. Not necessarily the black vote. Not necessarily the white women vote, the Hispanic Cuban vote. They bought into the socialist thing. Mm-hmm. If anything, Biden is getting criticized because they didn't spend enough money on the airways down there combating that BS. So you know me, man. I'm going to be up all night. I'm watching this, as of course. But I'm also going to be listening to your show. And like I said, man, I appreciate last night. I appreciate you getting me on. I appreciate the insight, the overview. I also want to give and I know this might trip you out, I want to give a shout out to DR. He came with some good information yesterday. The only thing that was screwed up, Nate, I kept refreshing the Hamilton County site and not the full, Ohio website, because I thought that Fanon Rucker was going to win, but that eventually changed. But a lot of the stuff, the Hamilton County site omitted the outer counties. Didn't you get that same confusion there?
Yeah, I made the mistake of especially when it came to the first and second districts and not looking at the other counties. Like, was it Butler County and Warren County and Butler County respectively?
Right. I mean, that Friday when I went and voted, they were on Biden and Harris people were on every corner on Tylersville and Mason Montgomery Road. That's basically the corner where Mason Middle School sits. That's where my son goes to school. And they were deep, man. It tripped me out. I was like, okay. I blew my horn, made a little left turn, and kept it moving. But, so they were out there. But, this gerrymandered district that Steve Shadow had, and that's all it is, folks. I mean, he has a gerrymandered district that's going to give Republicans that advantage for, I don't know, until we can change it again. That's why it's important. I think A-Ray had made mention of the census. Things like that matter, folks. That's how they draw a district. Or that's how they count where the people are. So it all matters, Nate. I'm glad people participated. I still believe that we're going to pull this out, Nate, but it's just going to take a little time. And during that time, we're going to have 48 hours of every freaking conspiracy theory that's out there. I'm surprised. I won't be surprised if Donald Trump said, come protect me, and the Proud Boys show up at the White House. Like they standing around and standing back. Some old goofy shit.
Well, if he wins, they don't need to.
Yeah, but they're going to be out there regardless, man. I'm just going to, like I said, I'm going to sit back, draw it all in like I always do, get immersed into my little nerd world of politics and just see what goes on. But I'm still confident we're going to pull this out, brother.
All right, brother. Thanks for the flows, man.
Hey, you have a good one, man. I appreciate you taking my call, Nate.
I appreciate you making the call. That's Mason Mahler with his full analysis, there. Appreciate him. Currently 9:03 a.m. You've got me for another 22 minutes, and then I got to make a move. As I said, I have an appointment at 10 a.m. this morning, and I want to make sure I'm there before 10 a.m. Right? When you're on time, you're late. When you're early, you're on time. That's what I teach my children, and then that means I teach them by doing it. And I want to make sure I don't lose my spot so I can get the work I'm trying to get done today. Is very, very important for my overall health. Benita writes, good morning. Good to see you, Benita. Ron writes, I guess those stimulus checks paid off, shaking my damn head. We're getting a call from New York here. Let's see who's on the line. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nate, how you doing?
Hey, brother Omar, a.k.a. Flo Maney. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Live from the Rotten Apple. Look, can I put this 94 crime bill to bed for once and for all?
Sure. I wish you would.
All right. Listen. 94 crime bill did not, and I repeat, it did not cause mass incarceration. That's not the problem. That's not what anybody's really focusing on. When they say Joe is locking them up, it goes before. Because we act like Joe just came around in 94. But Joe was there from the 70s. So Joe was there through every one of the Reagan crime bills. And you got Joe on record telling Reagan, go harder, you're not doing enough. Go harder, you're not doing enough. So he's responsible in that too. He pushed Reagan. You see what I'm saying? He brags. His name is on every crime bill, and he is tough on crime. And I'm talking about words from his mouth. He said that we are what do you call it? Unconscionable, I think he said it like that. That we can't be reconciliated. We just need to stay in jail. When you look at the states, the 3 strike rules, where did that come from? That came from the federal. The states adopted it. Where did that 85% come from? That came from the federal. The states adopted it. So his crime bill goes further than federal. It permeated all through the justice system. We're going to stop acting like that crime bill wasn't wide range. We're going to stop acting like that. He fucked up. Just eat it. And that's all he had to do. If he would have ate it in the beginning, people could shut up about it. Because they'd be like, look, he ate it. Clinton ate it right in the beginning. You see what I'm saying? So I don't get why people are still trying to defend that. And then they got the nerve to run around and talk about Kamala Harris. Well, she was a prosecutor just doing her job. Then so what's the problem with Dinas? He's just doing his job, right? You need to be locked up, right? Ain't that the same thing? What's the difference between Dinas and Kamala Harris? You like one because they got a D on their name? Come on, man. Black people need to grow up, man. They're the reason why the Democrats didn't win this. Point blank, period. Because you're running around with blinders on and letting these fools get away with tough stuff that is just unconscionable. You shouldn't even be getting away with that type of stuff. But you let them get away with it every 4 years. I know the lady talked about she's gonna to have accountability on these new judges. I hope so. I pray. History don't dictate that. It don't. It's the same shit every 4 years. Every 4 years. We're gonna stop acting like that 94 crime bill wasn't wide reaching. It was. We're gonna stop acting like Kamala Harris wasn't twisting up and protecting crooked cops. She was. We're gonna stop that. If you wanted somebody in there to where people couldn't be bashing on them, you had a bunch of candidates on the stage. You didn't need Joe Biden. Trump was so flawed, any one of them could have won. You picked Joe Biden and one with the most dirt on him. And then you wonder why they throwing dirt. And then he picks Kamala Harris, who didn't even win a delegate. Damn, Kelsey Galbert won a delegate. Who was she supposed to be moving? She couldn't even win a primary. Come on, man. Come on. Y'all need to blow the Democrat Party up and start again. Because what Trump did and what everybody is overlooking, Trump actually got minorities to vote for Republicans. If the Republican strategists take heed to that and follow that formula, y'all are in trouble. All this racism stuff is going to be out the window soon. Period. And keep with your head in the sand. Keep all that nonsense. Even if these ballots come back later on and Joe Biden wins, it's going to be a tough road for the Democrats. If a Republican could put a flawed candidate like Trump up twice and give this type of bet, what do you think they're going to do when they start putting actual good candidates up there? It's just
Brother
ridiculous.
Omar, I appreciate the flows, man. Giving us something to think about.
All right.
Yeah. Anything else, brother?
Nah, I'm good. That's all I wanted to just put
Great
that to bed for once and for all. Let's stop arguing about that. We know what happened.
I don't agree with everything you said, but great flows. I appreciate the passion. All right,
All
take
right.
it easy. Most def. That's the Ayatollah Flomady. Omar, appreciate the flows. I don't agree with everything you said, but great flows. That's his opinion. That's his opinion. Do you agree with him? 513-873-7134. I mean, the currency of this show is your opinion. I know how I feel, but I'm far more concerned in how you feel. That means a whole lot more to me than what I think. Please take a second to like and in particular share today's show, family. When you share the show, more people see it. I can't do by myself what we can do together. Yeah, I can't do it. When you share the show, more people see it. And a lot of people may have an opinion. You want to share it. It's an open door policy. Got the number right there. All I ask is that you open your mind before you open your mouth. Other than that, it's all good. And we can agree to disagree. If you got commentary you want to share, you got an opinion, share it. Share it. This is a great platform. You do that. You got it. The floor is yours. And then we'll just move on, whether we agree or disagree. Jermaine writes, I'm counting Joe out. Chastity writes, they felt like they couldn't win it. Tracy writes, well, he got all that money from humans he locked up. Joe Dieters is same scum of Donald. I don't trust the numbers. Diana writes, they keep skipping us, but Barack didn't skip us, and he won Ohio as a black Democrat, right? How did Joe Biden overlook Ohio? I just don't get it. That makes no sense. And last night we found out that John Pepper, the party chairman for the state of Ohio, reached out to the Biden campaign like, what are you doing? Where are you at? I don't know. Did y'all hear a lot of Biden campaign commercials in Ohio? If they didn't do it right, they're going to be analyzing it, and somebody made a mistake. Woody writes, Dems will never win Ohio. Ohio is North Alabamistan. Alabamistan. Terrell writes, this is a racist country. Donnie writes, nothing. The Republican Party is trash. Learn from their base. Their base voters stay on code, and they show up to vote every time. Tracy writes, that's a great point. Barack had UC Stadium packed. Lemmy writes, power concedes to no one. That's right. Cass writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you, Cass. And you know what? I forgot. I need to get back to you. But Saturday is good. Saturday at 2 p.m. is good, Cass, if you're listening. Woody writes, see where all this, they go low, we go high, got the Dems right. Angela writes, good morning. Who won the sheriff's race? That was Charmaine McGuffey. That was at 8 o'clock, so you probably heard her call in. That's a good thing. Fast Pictures writes, reinforced lesson, racism and fear trumps everything else in this country. Excellent point right there. Excellent point. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Nathan. It's Kev on the cell. How are you, bro?
Hey, I'm doing great, Kev on the cell. You okay, man?
Man, I just got up. I stayed up all night watching this madness, this lunacy. So off and on though, right? So I kept falling asleep. Then I get back up like, okay, I got this my thing, man. It's better than the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, a lot of fun.
But
so where are you at this morning?
I'm working from home, so I gotta tell you, man, I'm shocked, but not surprised. if that makes sense, man. Consistently, this country just it folks show who they are. You know what I mean? Like they just flat out show who they are. And you know, I heard last night they did a couple of special reports that you know, there's folks that are out in the streets. There are crowds of 200 people. I don't know that 200 people was a crowd, but that are squaring off against each other in Washington. And you know, it's just a crazy time to be around. But I did just hear that Michigan got flipped about 4 minutes ago.
Really?
So
flipped for who?
Huh?
Flipped for who?
Biden.
For Biden. Okay.
So yeah.
What
for all the
outlet is
people out
reporting
there.
this?
So the internet. I'm not on the news right now. I'm watching on the internet, and it's the election poll results from Yahoo, I guess.
Okay.
So take a look there. But for all you people out there that are claiming the victory that Trump claimed at 2:30 this morning, before anybody likely had their complete votes in for the strongly contested states, right? Only this dude would do that, man. I mean, none of this stuff makes sense to me. I'm like, okay, man. So look, if somebody comes up to you, right, and they act like a great guy, and they're like, hey, you know, I want to do some work for you. And you're like, oh, man, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got some references? And they're like, yeah, I got references, all of that good stuff. Yeah. And they start working, and you find out that they don't really do a very good job. And you're like, man, you know what? I'm going to have to go with somebody else, man. You know what I'm saying? I know you have references and everything, but when a person shows up to your house and says, hey, look, I'm going to paint your house with a toothbrush and Crayola paint, right? When they flat out tell you, like, I'm about to come in here and mess your house up, off rip. I want full price. Actually, I want more than I want more money than I actually deserve. And this job is going to take longer than you could have ever expected. Don't you just send that dude away? Don't you? Man, I ain't got no work for you here, bruh.
Right.
Go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. It's not like I don't understand what people are seeing that I don't see, man. I don't see where the great accomplishments, there's going to be so much winning. We're going to be winning like you've never seen. 231 or 235,000 people disagree with you strongly, Mr. President. Very strongly. Actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. They can't disagree with you at all. So I don't get, the only other thing it can be is, I don't know, racial environment in America? That's scary. Mm-hmm. And for who was that? You said that was Ayatollah Khomeini that was on the line a moment ago?
Mm-hmm. That was him.
Is that who was talking? I thought it was Broadway. My bad. I miss.
Same person. Broadway Flow, Omar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Omar. All right. See, I get confused with all these, pseudonyms and stuff. Okay, good. I thought so. I thought I recognized the voice. But folks keep talking about Joe Biden and the crime bill. But the dude that is currently in the White House, man, he has already said in no uncertain terms, you don't want black people working for him. If you're innocent but proven guilty, I want you to die. Right? And if you're innocent and proven guilty but found to be innocent, I still want you to die. Yeah. So how do you vote for this dude? And he is supposedly the tough on crime candidate now. From what I understand, they didn't change any of those laws that are in the books. Right? I mean, the crime bill, I don't know that it's been dismantled or taken away. So how are you going to enforce law now, Mr. President? Oh, I'm going to lock y'all up. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. I'm going to do it and I'm going to be happy to do it. I don't understand, man. I don't understand. But I will say this. My prognostication was 100% wrong. Master's degrees and all of that is out the door. I am not the guy to stand around and lie. I'm going to tell everybody my truth. I was flat. I thought he was going to get trounced, and this is the tightest race ever, which proves that I'm a fool and kind of gullible.
I wouldn't say that, man. I mean, we all have our opinions. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you said, my prognostication was 100% wrong. Kept it real, huh? I appreciate it.
Hey, man, it is what it is.
Right.
I didn't vote for everybody, right? So, but here's the thing, man. Like, you know, I guess tomorrow will be another day. This ain't going to be over for a couple of weeks or whatever, but even that doesn't give me any solace. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make me feel better. Yeah, because it should have been over last night. And honestly, man, if people don't know when a person can't do the job that, again, I'll say it again, I keep saying it, I have nothing personally against Donald Trump. I don't know the man. I ain't never met him. I have nothing personal against the man that is the president of the United States. The only thing I care about is the little girl that I'm trying to raise and her opportunities in this life. I don't care about nothing else, honestly. If we're talking 100%
real talk,
truth, that's my job. You know what I'm saying? Right. I don't have no other job as far as I'm concerned. Do what I can to make sure she has the best life possible. This dude does not, to me, seem to provide that opportunity. And it's because he has no merit as a candidate and he has no merit as the president. None at all. He truly proves that any man ever, everybody, anywhere, woman, man, child, dog, cat, mouse, can be president because he has no, and I'll say it again, no credentials that make him right for this role. And that's the only thing that bothers me. And you're going to talk to, to people in other countries, and you're in charge of the welfare of the whole country, and you don't know how to do any of that. And that's my problem. That's all. Other than that, I hope he has another Mar-a-Lago, and he I hope he builds another Mar-a-Lago in Russia and goes lives there. That's all I care about. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I don't know. I'm disheartened today, bro. I'm disheartened. I'm like,
well, I would say this, brother. I mean, it matters, but the liberation of our people, the success of our families is with us. It's with us. The success of your daughter, like you said, it's in your hands. It's not Joe Biden or Donald Trump.
It is, but here's the deal, and let's just keep it 100, right? If you make it harder for me, you make it harder for her. If you make it harder for my parents, you make it harder for me. So if my parents are struggling with drug costs and things like that, and that means that I got to kick in my income to help them because I'm going to have to do that, right? I can't leave them to wither or die on the vine. That takes funds away from my posterity, right? And that's what's happening here. People who have money are getting more money, and people who don't have money aren't getting an opportunity to get more money. And so, that piece of it is important. And we cannot, we first off, the number one thing that we got to do is we got to stop downplaying the role of the president. I said it before, and I'll still say it again. I think, probably last time I called, I said this, I'm going to say it again. Yes, local politics is highly important, but the person at the top does set the agenda and can help to pass or promote legislation that will affect your life. So if you keep talking about this guy ain't got no bearing on my life, period, it ain't true. And in 4 years, they're going to put another dummy up there. I know his name. You know his name. He has sat by. He is in charge. He is in charge.
Oh, hell no. Mm-mm.
He's a zombie, and he's going to run the country, bruh. There's no question. And then, all that CC, I figured it out finally. I finally figured it out, bro. I finally figured it out. Okay, so here's what has to happen, right? Donald Trump gets 4 more years, right? He installs Pence. next. And while Joe Biden wouldn't have said, hey, I'm going to excuse you for all the crimes and criminal crap that you did for the past 8 years, Mr. Pence is going to be like, expunged.
Oh, he certainly will. If he goes down like that, oh, he definitely will. No doubt about it. 100%.
You already know. That's 100% the truth. He's going to put a pen to it, man. No matter what they try to do, he's going to be like, nah, I'm sorry. As the former president, he's excused from any of this crap. It's nefarious. Kind of slick. Got to give it to him. Maybe that I can give him them props. Let's give him that. I think I am beginning to believe that Donald Trump is a criminal mastermind. Man, have a blessed one, bro.
Hey, thanks.
We got to smile or we die. That's all.
He's a James Bond villain. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, if Donald wins 4 more years, it just makes sense. If I'm Mike Pence, it's my time. I spent 8 years on the national spotlight. Okay. And what do? You come out and say, I'm going to continue with the Trump plan. Trump's vision for America. Makes sense. I mean, if he gets reelected, he spent 2 terms. He won 2 elections. It would just make sense. If I'm Mike Pence, I'm going to pick up the game plan and run and try to get me 8 years out of it. So I wouldn't doubt that one bit. Not one bit. Where we at? Well, family, I got to make a move. Got to make it. It was 9:25 a.m. this morning. As I told you, I got to leave early. Of course, I'll be back with you bright and early tomorrow morning. We will chop it up on everything that's happening, everything that's going on. I don't, as of right now, have any. I don't have any guests that are scheduled, but these things might change between now and tomorrow. So I'll give you a heads up. All right. Have an excellent rest of your day. Again, the liberation of our people is within us. We should take the wins, enjoy them, and if there are losses, learn from them and get back in the game. I'll leave you with that. Have an excellent rest of your day. Thank you for being a part of today's morning show. Remember, the Nathan Ivey Show is Cincinnati's first daily digital show that focuses on the Black community, brought to you by Cincinnati Digital Media, CDM. And our mission is simple: amplify Black voices. I got my links in the description, and you can text me personally straight to my phone. My number is in the description if you want to join our text messaging club. And I'll talk with you probably tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Have an excellent rest of your day.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the fucks I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a fuck, that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof leaving. Don't give a fuck, I don't care. Did the shit by my lonesome.